Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, how are you doing? This is another NASCAR episode on the Brandon Cruz Daily Fantasy Podcast. This is for Watkins Glen 2018. I just thought I'd get right into it. I've been working on videos for the NFL season related to running backs, quarterbacks, and wide receivers and my opinions on them. They will be coming out tomorrow, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. But let's just jump right into Watkins Glen. That's what you're here for. So going through the field like I always do, starting with the lowest finishing or the lowest starting position all the way up to first, giving you my opinions on them. Now, I have to say this. Remember that NASCAR has impounded the cars from qualifying, so they have not inspected them yet. So tomorrow, before the race, give or take, I think it's 2 hours before the race, NASCAR is going to inspect all the cars. And let's say if someone fails that post-qualifying inspection, you need to be on the money. You need to be on it on DraftKings. Let's say if you, for some, let's just say randomly, you have Joey Logano in your lineup. It says he's starting 6th right now. Let's say his car fails post-race or post-qualifying inspection and they have to start from the rear, and you don't realize that, or you're not paying attention to the news, or you just miss that notification. Then he starts the race and he's dead last in the field, and DraftKings is still giving you a 6th place starting position. So that's just something to be aware of going into tomorrow. We don't want anyone to be screwed over by that. But let's go down this list with Landon Cassill in the 00 Starcom Energy ride. I believe that's what he is. Anyway, I don't have any 10-lap averages just because 10 laps is a lot at Watkins Glen. I don't believe anyone actually ran them in practice, but I know for a fact most guys ran race trim in both of the practices, so so we don't really have to worry about that. But Landon Cassill starting dead last, 37th in first practice, 35th in the second practice, and with a finish last year here at Watkins Glen at 36 and not even running Sonoma, I don't see a reason to even bother with Landon Cassill this weekend. Complete fade in my opinion. And also, I think this is a race, especially going off of how the Xfinity was and how my lineup for that was. I didn't start any of the back runners, and by that, like, at least with the Xfinity, I didn't start anyone below $6,700. I picked all the fast guys, everyone who finished on the lead lap. I didn't bother with anyone who was like 2 seconds off the pace, and I would advise you to do that. And I don't have the speeds with me at the moment. Let me get them up, but I know for a fact Parker Kligerman is about the only guy I would even bother picking out of the slower cars. Let me just look at what they ran. Parker Kligerman, starting 29th, is the first guy at a minute 12 seconds on this track. Everyone else in front of him is either running a minute 11 seconds or faster, and then you get Parker Kligerman, it's a minute 12 seconds, and then down from there. So Parker Kligerman down is running a minute 12 seconds in qualifying. Everyone else is above is running 1 minute 11. So really, I'm just going to say this right now, Parker Kligerman might be the only slow guy I would even bother looking at. But let's look at the the numbers to back it up. Then you got Spencer Gallagher starting 36 fastest in first practice, 34th fastest in second practice. I don't see him finishing anywhere near the top 30. I think he'll probably finish 32nd. Not even worth going to. Ross Chastain, not even worth touching again. starting 34th in first practice. Don't have a time in second practice, so don't even bother with him. Whitt, still slow. Let me get this qualifying speed back up because I refer to that quite a lot. With this, I apologize. I should have had this up before. Okay, I got that open. Okay, so let's go back to the starting with Whitt. Whitt starting 33rd, 32nd in first practice, 30th in second practice. Let's say if he starts 34th and finishes 30th, man, dude, that's 4 positions not even worth They're not even worth touching there. Then you got Dillon. Now this is a interesting play because Dillon, we know that he's not just like that slow. He is in the 13 car. While they don't have a top 10 speed or a top 10 car, they certainly don't have a slow car way back here. So let's look at these numbers. Starting 32nd, 31st, first practice, 23rd, second practice. Last year he finished 19th here. And Sonoma earlier in the year he finished 33rd. And then last year at Sonoma he finished 28th. So I'm going to go off of the speed that he's displaying this weekend and what he ran at Sonoma, because I don't believe he had any issues at Sonoma related to mechanically. He just ended up finishing 33rd. And even though he was 23rd fastest in second practice, I think Ty Dillon is probably going to run maybe 29th, 28th, 30th. And I haven't really looked at a lot of videos or anything related to this yet, because I'm recording this right after qualifying. But I have a feeling that a lot of people are going to be like, oh, use Ty Dillon in the back. He's great value, $5,400 for Ty Dillon. He was 23rd fastest in second practice. You know, I just don't like these numbers that Ty Dillon has, especially at Sonoma. Now, granted, Sonoma's a much slower track. It's not as fast as Watkins Glen, but let's look at these numbers in qualifying. Ty Dillon, like maxed out, probably all tape, ran a 1 minute 12 second lap. There is 28 cars that are running a minute 11 seconds. I don't really want to be with a guy who's that off the pace, and you might be like, what do you mean, like a second off the pace, half a second off of 1 minute 11 seconds? That's a lot. When you have 28 guys running half a second faster than your car on a road course, I just don't see it from Ty Dillon. I don't see him getting a top 25, a top 26, a top 27. I don't see him getting that, and so I'm not going to be looking at Ty Dillon this week. And right in front of him, Darrell Wallace Jr. I am not going to be using Darrell Wallace Jr. He's admitted himself that he's not a road course fan. He doesn't like these types of tracks, and not that I'm hating on him, because I like Darrell Wallace Jr., but what he's shown, especially in the Cup Series right now, is that he's just struggling on him. He's just not good. So, Darrell Wallace Jr., 33rd fastest in first practice, 33rd fastest in second practice, and he finished 29th at Sonoma, and he admitted that he got in his own way at Sonoma because he was just over-driving and just trying to get too much out of the car. Excuse me, I gotta take a drink right fast. Wow. That is unprofessional drinking during the podcast. But Darrell Wallace is just not fast, so I'm not even going to be looking at Ty Dillon and Darrell Wallace Jr. And I have a feeling that people are going to be saying Ty Dillon is the value play of the week, and I just do not see it. I don't trust it. I don't like that. And so I'm not touching Ty Dillon, not touching Darrell Wallace Jr. Starting 30th, Matt DiBenedetto, 29th fastest first practice, 32nd fastest second practice. Finished 29th at Sonoma. I think that's the same. Wait, no, he finished 17th at Sonoma. My bad. Matt DiBenedetto, 17th at Sonoma. 29th here last year. Just don't see it, man. I just don't see it. Gosh, man, I'm just dealing with burps and everything tonight. I chose a terrible time to record this. But I don't like Matt DiBenedetto either. Just starting 31st, I don't see him finishing top 25. Just not going to use him. Now, Parker Kligerman, here we go again. And Parker went back out. He was the first car to go back out in the first part of qualifying. And he ran... He went from, I think he was 34th, and he got up to 29th. And let's see, Parker Kligerman, 30th, practice 1, 31st, practice 2, and just right on the cusp of the minute 11 seconds. And just, there's just something about a minute 11 seconds I like, and minute 12 I just don't. And Parker Kligerman's the only one that's in there, and he's actually in an island of his own. I know you aren't seeing what I'm looking at, but Matt Kenseth in front of Parker Kligerman, and man, I'm got way too many ideas right now, or going through my mind. Matt Kenseth ran a 1 minute 11 second .871 lap time in qualifying. Parker ran a minute 12 second .038, and Matt DiBenedetto ran a 1 minute 12 second 2:01. So Park Kligerman is separated by 2/10 in both directions between a minute 11 and a minute 12. So I think Park Kligerman is just, if you need money, if you need to save money, I think Park Kligerman's the way to go, and he's at 6,300. I don't think that you really need to dive any lower than that. I just tend to like Parker, and he finished 23rd at Sonoma, and in practice he at least has a top 30 car. I'd rather run with a top 30 car than a Spencer Gallagher or Cole Whitt or Ross Chastain. I just don't like that. I like Parker Kligerman. I don't know how many positions he's going to get, but I just like Parker Kligerman, and I think he's the fastest back marker that you want to bother with. Then you got Matt Kenseth, a guy who used to do very good here with the Joe Gibbs machines. Hasn't been doing that well this year with the 6 car for Roush Fenway Racing, but let's look at his time. So Matt Kenseth starting 28th, 27th fastest first practice, 21st fastest second practice. And while he has a second place, a 10th, a 4th, and a 9th the last 4 years at the Glen, that was with faster cars, didn't run Sonoma. He doesn't like road course races. I don't like Matt Kenseth in the situation. I'm going to probably fade him. David Reagan starting 27th, 24th fastest first practice, 28th fastest second practice, a 27th here last year, a 33rd a year before, and a 22nd at Sonoma earlier in the year. I think David Reagan has a top 24 car. I think he would finish 24th, 23rd, 22nd, somewhere around there. But I think there's other guys that you might want to be looking at. Austin Dillon is one guy that I'm not going to be looking at. Starting 26th, 28th fastest first practice, 29th fastest second practice, a 16th at Sonoma, but his previous races here at the Glen, a 26th, a 31st, and a 36th. Just not liking Austin Dillon. Don't like him. And then you got Ricky Reckhouse, and he's a very interesting play here, and I actually like Ricky Stenhouse in this situation, and I think he's a guy that you want to be looking at way more than Ty Dillon or Matt DiBenedetto or those really cheap guys, because he's 5,700, and that's a huge drop off. Let's look at what he was previously. I gotta pull up what his previous prices are. I don't know why I'm like so sloppy today with all this. I apologize for that, but let's look at Sten Reckhouse. So last it's a $2,000 price drop. I mean, are you curious? Gander Outdoors 400, he was 7,600 here, he's 5,700. And look at the speed that this guy is carrying into the week. Practice 1, 11th, practice 2, 9th. 20th here last year, and 18th at Sonoma. He's a top 20 driver easily, and I think he'll easily finish 17th. I like Ricky Stenhouse Jr. here, and I'll certainly be playing him. Hopefully he doesn't wreck too bad, because he's certainly a do well or wreck, or just don't do well and wreck and whatever. But I certainly like Ricky Stenhouse. Then you got Alex Bowman starting 26th. Starting 24th, 26th in first practice, 12th in the second practice. Didn't run here the last 2 years and got a 9th at Sonoma. I like Alex Bowman here. He has a lot of car control, and I think he's going to be very overlooked. I think he's going to have low ownership. I don't see a lot of people using him. I like Alex Bowman. I think he has a top 20 car. That's about all I can really tell from this. I mean, road courses are always tough. Let's be honest here. Road courses are always tough. There's not a lot of laps. You want to try and get point differential. But I like Bowman here. I also like Daniel Suarez, starting 23rd, 6th fastest first practice, 15th fastest second practice. Finished 3rd here last year. Finished 15th at Sonoma. I like Daniel Suarez. So right now I'm looking at Stenhouse, Bowman, and Suarez as two guys that I like. Right in front of him, Chris Buescher, a guy who is a teammate of AJ Allmendinger, who I think is going to do horrible tomorrow. But Chris Buescher, 22nd starting position, 22nd first practice, 16th second practice, 11th here last year, and a 12th at Sonoma this year. I like Chris Buescher as well. I also like Kurt Busch, just based on how Kurt Busch runs. I mean, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 guys right here that I really like. So you got Kurt Busch, 18th fastest first practice, 18th fastest second practice, a sixth here last year, 11th the year before, a sixth at Sonoma, this last race at Sonoma, and then a seventh the year before at Sonoma. So Kurt Busch knows what he's doing on a road course. He just qualified real shitty. That is a play that I'm going to be looking at a whole lot. I like Kurt Busch. I like the Stewart-Haas cars anywhere. I love Kurt Busch here. I like Ryan Newman too, based on practice speed, not based on track history. So Ryan Newman starting 20th, the 13th fastest first practice, 17th fastest second practice. But the last two road course races, he's finished 25th and 24th. 24th at Sonoma this year, 25th here last year. While that might be a little concerning to some, I think his practice speed shows that he can finish 16th, 15th if everything goes well. Certainly Kurt Busch, Chris Buescher, Daniel Suarez, Bowman, and Stenhouse, I think they're safer plays. But I think if you want to get off those guys and jump off for 6,800, you can go with Newman, and not a lot of people are going to have him. Clint Boyer, I love Clint Boyer here. Like I said, I love the Stewart-Haas cars anywhere, but Clint Boyer, same with Kurt Busch, they're showing an amazing tandem if you want to try and roster them both, which I might do. I haven't actually made the lineups yet. I need to do that tonight. I'm going to be doing that right when I'm done making this. But these are some of the guys I'm looking at. So Clint Boyer starting 19th, 4th fastest first practice, a 24th fastest second practice. But if you look at his track history here, in Stewart-Haas in the 14 last year, he finished 5th here at the Glen last year, and he finished 3rd at Sonoma. I'd love that. You know, Clint Boyer knows what he's doing. He's a patient guy. He understands these cars. He understands these tracks and track history. I just like Clint Boyer. I think he underqualified. I mean, man, you mess up in one corner at a road course and it just kills your lap. So I like him. And I'm thinking about maybe trying to put Kurt Busch and Clint Boyer together. I think that might be popular. But man, it's tough. Like I said, you got Stenhouse, Bowman, Suarez, Buescher, Busch, Newman, Boyer, Keselowski. 8 cars right here that you could make a lineup with and be happy with, but you need one of those top dogs in the front, so that's where it's going to be a bit dicey. Then you got Brad Keselowski, the Carl Killer, starting 18th, 21st first practice, 26th second practice. But man, we've all seen those damn videos. It's been all over Twitter and Facebook of the greatest finish, the greatest races happen at Sonoma, and Keselowski is always involved in them. So last year at the Glen, he's dropped off from how he used to perform with the Gen 5 and the early Gen 6 cars here. The last 2 years here, or the last 2 road course races, a 15th here last year and a 13th here at Sonoma. Now, granted, he's starting 18th. I think Keselowski is easily going to get a top 15, maybe even a top 10 if he goes back to his old ways. And he's actually cheaper than Boyer and Busch. So at 89, for a guy that you know is good here, Keselowski is certainly in play. I don't see him doing any worse than where he's starting. It's just going to depend on how much money you have and the other guys. Then you got William Byron, not even interested in this guy. 17th, starting position, 20th. Practice 1, 4th practice 2, no history here, and a 25th at Sonoma. And that's a big old just not going to use you, Byron, at all. Complete fade. Then you got Kevin Harvick. Freaking fast Harvick, starting 16th. 19th fastest first practice. 13th fastest second practice. 17th here last year, and a 2nd at Sonoma. Now, looking at his history, and I look at with road courses, I look at the last 2 races at each track, even though I haven't really been saying the last 2 years. I do look at him. He's a way better racer at Sonoma. He just doesn't have that type of luck here, and for $12,000, I think you can fade Harvick and be fine. I don't see Harvick winning. I think there's faster guys out there, and people are going to be throwing more strategy. I don't see any way Harvick's going to win it, and the only way I would pick Harvick in this situation if I think he was going to win it, and I just don't like that. He also wheel hopped in qualifying. I'm not too worried about that at all. If you're worried about Harvick and the transmission and the driveline being shaken up from that, man, these Stewart-Haas cars are built so well, and people will hop all the time, whether it be Martinsville or here or New Hampshire. I'm just not real worried about it. I don't think it messed the carp at all. If you're worried about damaging the driveline for the 4 car, I wouldn't even worry about it. And then Got Jamie Mack showing speed here in practice and his previous races. What the heck happened here? Oh, that's weird. My dog's just running around in the background. Jay Mcmurray messed up his qualifying, and based on practice speed, he has a top 10 car, and I think he will finish in the top 10, even though history really doesn't show that. I just have a nice feeling about McMurray. 8th fastest first practice, 7th fastest second practice, 14th here last year, and a 37th at Sonoma, but he had an issue at Sonoma, so I'm not going to really count that against him. If you look at his past 4 races, his last 4 road course races, a 14th and an 8th. Last 2 years here in the 37th and a 10th at Sonoma. I think he's a top 15 guy, but he's starting 15th. 7,700, you can go back and get Stenhouse, Suarez, Bowman, and Buescher for a much cheaper price, but McMurray's, I like McMurray here. I'm going to completely skip Menard, feign Menard completely. But if you want to know why, I will tell you 23rd fastest first practice, 11th fastest second practice, but an 18th here last year and a 26th at Sonoma earlier in the year. He's just not a road course guy. I normally love Menard, but just not in this situation. And then going to Jimmy Johnson, good old 5-time, turn 6-time, turn 7-time, turn, just going to keep on going until he gets an 8. 17th fastest first practice, 6th fastest second practice. Now, Watkins Glen is one of the few tracks, which I could be wrong here, but I'm pretty sure this is one of the few tracks that Jimmy Johnson has never won at, and I don't see that happening tomorrow. A 29th here last year, a 40th here the year before, an 11th at Sonoma this year, and a 13th at Sonoma the year before. He's a much better guy at Sonoma, much more consistent, top 15, top 10 at Sonoma. At Watkins Glen, while he has an 8th and a 3rd place finish in 2013 and 2012, respectively, I just don't like Jimmy Johnson here, complete fade. Michael McDowell, I don't know how the fuck he even got in the top 12. That's freaking random. Not even going to freaking worry about him. I don't care if he was 9th fastest first practice and a 5th fastest in second practice. A 12th here last year and a 21st at Sonoma has me doubting McDowell doing anything of any type of movement forward, fading McDowell. I'm going to be fading Ryan Blaney as well. 25th fastest first practice, a 14th fastest second practice. 8th here last year, a 34th at Sonoma earlier this year. Even though for 7,900, like I said, there's those 8 guys in the 20s or in the 20th starting positions that you could just have a lot more value in. Fading Blaney. I'm going to also be fading Kasey Kahne. That 95 car just does not have the speed. I don't give a shit if it's a road course. Just there's no way Kasey Kahne is going to finish top 10. Completely fading Kasey Kahne, even though he was 16th fastest first practice, 8th fastest second practice, a 16th here last year, and a 20th at Sonoma earlier this year. Not liking him. Erik Jones is an interesting play at 6,700. First practice, he was fastest, 22nd in second practice, a 10th here last year, and a 7th place at Sonoma. He's got some good things going for him on road courses. I think he has a top 10 car, and I think he's going to finish 7th. But that's just not going to give you enough points to really justify playing him. He's just a really interesting play for 6,700 if you want to have a bit of if you want to have a lineup that not a lot of people are going to have. I think if you throw Jones on there, he's going to be vastly underowned, maybe at 7 to 10%. I don't see really any other than to have a lineup that's different from people. I don't think a lot of people are going to pick Jones, and I don't really see myself using him. I'm not going to do that. And then you get to AJ Allmendinger, the druggie, the guy who did cocaine or whatnot, like in 2011 or whatever, 2010, 2012, whatever. Ever since he has won here at the Glen, this man has choked away road course races, whether it be in Xfinity, whether it be in Cup, whether it be at Sonoma, whether it be here. I'm not using AJ Allmendinger. I think he's going to choke again because he puts so much damn pressure on himself to get a win here. He always fucks up. He always does something stupid. He always overdrives or makes a mistake. Seriously, look at his history. He's either been leading or been in second, and then he fucks up on pit road, or he downshifts like an idiot, and he messes up. No one wrecks him. AJ Allmendinger just chokes. He chokes every time here, and I'm going to be fading him. And a crap load of people are going to play him again and then get screwed over by him again. So I'm not even going to worry about AJ Allmendinger. But let's go over his stats and everything. What are we at right now for time? I feel like this is going way over. We're at 24 minutes. I am so sorry. 10th fastest first practice, 27th fastest second practice, a 9th here last year, a 4th here the year before, and then 2 DNFs at Sonoma the last 2 years because he chokes. I think he's going to choke again tomorrow. I don't think he's going to lead anything. Complete fade on AJ Allmendinger, and a complete fade on Aric Almirola too. 14th fastest first practice, 3rd fastest second practice. But if I'm going to be choosing a Stewart Haas guy, it's going to be Clint Boyer and Kurt Busch. No reason to pick AJ Allmendinger, or no reason to pick Aric Almirola. Joey Logano, a good road course racer, but I don't think he's going to win. Starting 6, you need a winner. Not even going to go over what he's doing. I'm just going to completely fade Logano. I'm going to completely fade Kyle Larson as well, because I don't see room in your lineups for him. I don't see them being in the optimal lineup. I don't see a reason to. Now the top 4. This is where it gets fun. Martin Truex Jr., 5th fastest first practice, 10th fastest second practice, won this race last year, won Sonoma. He has won the last 2 road course races in a row, and he has a fast car going into the race tomorrow. I like Truex here. I think you're going to need a guy who's going to lead, and I don't think Truex would lead a lot of laps. If he wins, I think he's going to win it on strategy later in the race, maybe on the 3rd stage or something along those lines. I don't see him just powering through the field or the top 3 guys in front of him. But I do like Martin Truex Jr. For 11,500, I like him a hell of a lot more than Kevin Harvick, and I think Truex has a top 5 car. I think he'll finish in the top 5. I don't think he's going to win it. I think Kyle Busch is going to win the race tomorrow based purely off of speed, but that's just me. I could go either way on Truex. I probably won't play him, but I think he's going to have a top 5 car. Chase Elliott, I think he's going to fall back. I think Chase Elliott is going to finish 11th or 10th. 15th fastest first practice, 1st in second practice, 213 finishes here the last 2 years, and a 4th at Sonoma and an 8th at Sonoma in 2017. Don't like Chase Elliott here. Going to completely fade him. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Kyle Busch, I'm going to be completely over-owning everything on Kyle Busch. He ran nothing but practice runs this entire weekend. Didn't even bother running a Q run. All his times from practice are in race trim. He's the fastest car on long run speed. 2nd fastest first practice. 19th fastest second practice. 7th here last year. A 5th at Sonoma, but I think he has the speed to get by Denny Hamlin. Denny Hamlin was a fucking fluke in qualifying. I don't see him staying there. I think Kyle Busch is going to take the lead, and Truex will follow suit and just be 2nd the whole day. Kyle Busch is going to win the race. He's my pick for that. So I love Kyle Busch here. I'm going to completely fade Denny Hamlin. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I don't see Hamlin leading laps. I don't see him winning. He was 7th fastest first practice and 2nd fastest second practice. 4th here last year and 18th at Sonoma. Don't like Denny Hamlin. So, to go through the field one last time, or at least look at the guys that I'm looking at. If you're looking for a punt, Parker Kligerman's your guy. Don't go any lower than that. And then I like Stenhouse, Bowman, Suarez, Buescher, Busch, Newman, Boyer, Keselowski, Mcmurray, but I'm not going to play him. Erik Jones, but I'm not going to play him. And then Martin Truex Jr. and Kyle Busch. I think those are the guys that you need to be targeting. And I think they're going to be in the winning lineup. What is that, like 10 guys, 11 guys, something along those lines? I think if you can fit those guys in your lineup, you'll be golden. And I think that's pretty much all I have. Just sit back and enjoy the road course race tomorrow, guys. It's really cool. And feel free to come back and look at my NFL videos and all that type of stuff. I'm putting a lot of time and effort into that. Week one at DraftKings for NFL, I want to easily put down close to $500, $600 down just that week. So I'm putting a shitload of effort into week one and into research and all that. I'll probably be doing stuff on draft.com as well. I'm going to try that out and check all that. But that's my opinion on Watkins Glen, guys. Don't let other guys fool you or deceive you into picking some slow fuck starting 30th or back. Please don't pick Ty Dillon. I just see people telling you to pick Ty Dillon. I see people telling you to pick AJ Allmendinger. Don't do it, guys. Save yourself. If they end up doing a comeback, you can come and put comments in the bottom and say how I was wrong. But Jesus Christ, that is not going to work. AJ Allmendinger sucks. AJ Allmendinger will not win the race. I don't care what you people say. AJ Allmendinger is not going to do good. He's going to be a terrible play. Don't play AJ Allmendinger on road courses. Just please, guys. If you do that, you're burning money. I'm dead serious. I hate to stress it, but every damn video, every road course I see, pick AJ Allmendinger. He's good. No, he's fucking not. He won one race, and people think he's great. No, he's not. Stick with Busch. Stick with Truex. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Sorry that it took half an hour, but those are my picks. Have a great night. If you need anything else, tweet me at BrandonCruzDFS on Twitter. Follow me on Twitter. Like and subscribe. All that nonsense, or don't. I don't really care. I'm just doing this for fun. Hopefully I help you out, and have a great day, guys.